America has came a long way from the days of slavery of the 1800s and the separate but equal laws of the 1950s, but racism still exists today. To us living in Southern California in the 21st century, racism isn't as experienced as it was before because of the diverse demographic that we've grown accustomed to. But in many areas of the country, it is still prevalent. My claim today is that racism affects both the psychological and the physical well-being of children. My first example is a study conducted by a group of psychologists and a pediatrician about the occurrence of perceived racism in children, including the setting and context in which it occurred. First, they recruited 277 children between the ages of 8 and 18 from predominantly poor and urban areas in Rhode Island and in Connecticut. 31% of these children were African American, 37% were Latinos, 19% were multiracial, 7% were Caribbean, 4% were European American, and 2% were other. Then each participant was asked to answer a 23-item questionnaire. Some examples of these questions were: have you seen someone in your family been mistreated because of their race, or do teachers assume that you're not as intelligent as another student, or have you been called an insulting name, or have you been watched closely by security? The statistics of this study show that 88.4% of these children reported to have experienced an experience of racism in at least one of the 23 items, and 12% reported that they experienced it in more than half of the situations. Some other factual data that supports my data is that my claim is that a correlation has been found that racism affects the cardiovascular, mental, and behavioral health of children, and it also contributes to the discrepancies in socioeconomic status, because people who perceive themselves as a target to racial discrimination, they are more prone for substance abuse. And in conclusion, racism has a negative effect on children. We don't want them to be at risk of diabetes or depression down the line when they're adults, and because they are the future and we must protect them. Thank you.